Hello and welcome in to the examples video for lesson 8 for Precalculus 1. This is the examples of our word problems. As I mentioned in the content video, there's only going to be 3 of them, just to kind of give you an idea of what types of problems you should know how to do and how we can apply some of those guidelines that I talked about in the content video. Let me also point out to you that the problems in this uh, assignment before you come to class, they are not NOT. They are not mastery sets. So I don't want you getting caught up on one problem and then it means you don't get any points. So I forget how many there was. I think there was about like 8 or something like that, maybe. So it's just 1 point for each problem. It's not a mastery set. You don't have to worry about getting like 4 out of 5 or 7 out of 8 or anything like that. You just, however many you can figure out, hopefully all of them, that's the number of points you get. Okay, let's share the document camera here. So the first example we have a rental company. Maybe I should have typed these out ahead of time and then kind of go through. But anyways, a rental company charges $80 per day and 25 cents per mile traveled. A truck is rented for 5 days and the total bill is $476. How many miles did the truck go? All right. So let me leave that for a second. You can pause if you want to get caught up with the writing. Welcome back. All right. So first thing we're going to do, and I know I read it as I wrote it, but let's do it anyways. Let's pretend we're looking at this on a test or in the book or something like that. A rental company charges $80 per day and 25 cents per mile traveled. Okay. A truck is rented for 5 days and the total bill is $476. How many miles did the truck go? So, a couple things we have to be careful of right off the bat here. The first is that it's telling us it's $80 a day for the rental, but 25 cents per mile. And maybe I should have wrote this on the thing too, but we want to make sure our units are the same. So when I start creating my equations, I'm not dealing with part of it is dollars and part of it is cents. But anyways, so total bill is 476. How many miles did the truck go? Next thing in the suggestions is what is being asked, and it's usually the last sentence. And so here we can say, see, the problem is asking us how many miles did the truck go? So I am then step 3, define my variables. M is equal to miles. So we can break this problem down in a couple ways. The easiest way, and what I would also suggest is that try to put yourself in some of these scenarios might seem a little bit goofy, for lack of a better word, but put yourself in the situation. And if it was you that was renting this truck and you knew it was going to be $80 a day and you were going to need it for 5 days, well, right off the bat, how much is that going to cost you? Well, it's 5 days times $80 a day. So 5 times 80 means it's going to cost you $400 just to rent the truck, and you haven't even driven it off the lot yet. So if we look at that compared to what was given in the problem, our total bill was $476. But if we know that of that $476, $400 was just the cost to rent the truck, that means we have $76 that we got charged because of the mileage, right? So now we can create our equation. We know what's left is we got 25 cents per mile, and the total charge for that, the equals, remember from our keywords, is 76. So 25 cents is the same as what? And because we're talking dollars here, it's $0.25 per mile is equal to 76. 25 cents a mile is $76. And so if we want, we could really write this as what? 1/4 of a dollar is equal to $76. So multiply both sides by 4 means that the number of miles we drove is 76 times 4, which is 304 miles. So that's how we can tackle that problem. Kind of break it down, put ourselves in the situation, make the numbers smaller because, well, it's going to be $400 before we even get going. So we know that really all we're being charged is $76 for those miles that we drove. The next one. So you'll have like interest and financing problems. So this one says, what interest rate is needed to earn $177.50 on a $2,500 investment? So we're going to assume 1 year here. So what interest rate for the year? And we invest $2,500. And in 1 year, we go back and look at our account, and then we now earned $177.50 on that investment. So again, we read the question, what interest rate is needed to earn that much money on a $2,500 investment? Again, put yourself in the position here. I'm taking some money, I'm going to a bank, or I'm going to a financial planner, somebody that I'm saying, okay, I got this 25, I hit a royal flush down at whatever Bellagio Casino, and I won $2,500. I don't want to spend it. I want to invest it, and I want to make sure that I earn $177.50. So how much interest do I need to earn? The other thing is, again, second, what is being asked? Well, it's what interest rate. And so we can define our variables, say I is that interest rate. And so then to set up our equation, to figure out the interest, it's what? It's the amount that we invested times the interest rate tells us how much we get back in interest. So let's kind of take a side look here for a second. If I invested $100 at 10%, well, then it would be 100 times 10%, which gives me $10, right? So same idea here when I'm setting up this equation. I have $2,500. I want to invest it at some interest rate so that at the end of the year, I have $177.50. So if I divide both of these guys by 2,500, I get the interest rate is 0.071. And so to figure out interest rate as a percentage, so I should put that here, assume 1 year, so find as a percentage. I have to do what? I have to multiply this by 100 to get what the percentage is. So when I do that, the decimal place moves over 2 places. So the interest rate that I would need is 7.1% in order to earn $177.50 on that investment. All right, last example. So a plumber and cabinet maker work together on a job. The plumber charges $150 per hour. And the cabinet maker, I'm going to write CM to save us some time here. And the cabinet maker charges $80 per hour. The cabinet maker works 9 times as many hours as the plumber. The total labor cost for the job is $2,610. How many hours did the cabinet maker work? So go ahead and hit pause, get it all written, come on back. All right, welcome back. So let me kind of go on a tangent here. So it's like, man, the plumber, 150 an hour, cabinet maker, 80 an hour. Yes, that's how much they charge. Some of them, that's how much they make. So I don't talk about it much, but generations of my family were in the trades, plumbing, heating, electrical business. So I'm always a big proponent. It's like I know I probably shouldn't be as a college instructor, but trade schools. Um, if you're one of those people that's on the fence, like, man, do I really want to be in college? I'm not sure if this is what I want to do. There's always trade schools. They make a lot of money. You don't usually end up with a lot of student loan bills at the end either. So something to think about. All right, off my little soapbox here. Now, again, let's process through what's happening here. So you got a plumber and a cabinet maker. They're working together on a job. The plumber is charging 150 an hour. The cabinet maker is charging $80 an hour. Okay. The cabinet maker works 9 times as many hours as the plumber. Makes sense. They got to build all those cabinets. That takes a lot of time. The total labor is $2,610. How many hours did the cabinet maker work? So, okay, we read it. We kind of understand what's going on. What is being asked of me? Well, it's my cabinet maker's hours. That's what is being asked in this problem. So now define our variables. So I'm going to say P is the number of plumber hours and C is the cabinet maker hours. So first, we're told that the cabinet maker works 9 times as many hours as the plumber. So this is where we have to be careful setting up the equation, because if the plumber works sorry, 1 hour, how many hours does the cabinet maker work? Well, 9 times that, or 9 hours. If the plumber works 2 hours, the cabinet maker works 18, and so forth. So when I set this up, I have to be careful I put the 9 with the right variable. So I have what? I have that the cabinet maker hours is 9 times whatever the plumber works. So let's check. If the plumber works 1 hour, 9 times 1 is 9. Yep. If the plumber works 2, 9 times 2 is 18. Yes, that's right. If I would have done it the other way, that the plumber is 9 times C, well, that doesn't make sense, right? Because that means if the cabinet worker worked 1 hour, the plumber worked 9 hours. And I know I have it backwards. So just kind of run some little checks like that as you set up the equations. Now, this is where we have to be careful. The total labor for the job is, that's my equal sign, 2,610. But that's the cost for the job. That is not the number of hours. There was not 2,000 hours spent on this job. So it's not like it's P plus C is 2,610. Instead, it's what? For every hour that the plumber worked, $150 was charged to the job. And for every hour the cabinet maker worked, $80 was charged to the job. So we have to set this up as $150 for all the plumber's hours plus $80 for all the cabinet maker's hours equals $2,610. So now these are my two equations. And looking at it, and this is why we did our systems of equations in the previous lesson, because substitution, right? I can just substitute C is actually 9P. So I have 150P plus 80 times 9P is equal to 2610. So 150P plus 720P is 2610. Add these two sides, we get 870P is 2,610. So to get P, I divide both sides by 870, and I get P is equal to 3. Is that my final answer? No, it is not. Why? Because this question was asking me how many hours did the cabinet maker work? And P is the plumber's hours. So I still need to go back and figure out what's C. Well, C is what? C is 9 times the plumber's hours. And so since we found out that P is equal to 3, then the cabinet maker's hours is 9 times 3. Therefore, the cabinet maker's hours is 27 hours. What am I doing? 9 times, yeah, 9 times 3. So 27 hours. Yeah. So P is 3. Cabinet maker is 9 times the hours. So 9 times 3 is 27 hours. That's the answer we're looking for. So that's it. Like I mentioned, I could sit here and work word problems for 10 hours, and I still probably would leave one out that you're going to encounter on your homework or maybe on the in-class assignments. But hopefully, if you follow these guidelines, no matter what problem you're given, you're going to be able to work your way through it. So that's it. That's the end of lesson 8. Come on back and we will tackle lesson 9.